Hello. Thank you, Marcella. And good morning, everyone, and welcome. Thank you all for coming today for this wonderful event where we will unveil our new single-aisle Airbus aircraft that will be fully integrated to the overall Airbus single-aisle family of aircraft. It's a real honor for me to talk to you today as the head of sales for the Bombardier and Airbus partnership called CSAP, as I will have the honor to ensure the commercial success of this aircraft. As you will recall, the partnership was announced by both CEOs, Tom Enders and Alain Bellemare, back in October 2017. After we got all the regulatory approvals, we were able to sign the deal on June 8, 2018, well ahead of schedule. The deal is now effective till July 1st, and all the teams are up and running already. This was a huge achievement by all the teams, from Airbus obviously, but also from Bombardier. And this tells you that the partnership is already up and running and in good shape. Truly, it's a marriage made of heaven, combining the state-of-the-art technology of the CSeries aircraft with the global scale and reach of Airbus in terms of sales, global sales worldwide, in terms of excellence in industrial capabilities and procurement, and of course, in terms of global support network. And it will create value for our customers, value for our employees, values for our suppliers, and obviously value for our shareholders. This partnership is good for a lot of reasons. The first one is competition. We do like competition. We believe that there is a market in the 100 to 150 seat segment, and we believe, we are convinced that the CSeries respond fantastically to the need of that market. It will create opportunities for competition elsewhere, and I think you will have to see that in the future. It creates partnership is good for the passengers, because you will see by yourself in a moment when you walk through the aircraft, the comfort of this aircraft is just outstanding. It has 18-inch seats, wide hatch racks, high windows. It's simply the best aircraft in its class, and I would like to remind you, it's also the quietest aircraft in its category. And it will be good also for the communities, of course the communities of Canada in Mirabel, where the aircraft will be built, but very soon it will be good for the communities of Alabama, where we will have our second assembly line, which will serve our huge US market. With the first all-new design aircraft, the CSeries is promised to have a good future, simply for two reasons. The first one, it will be fully integrated to the 320 family. Again, you will see by yourself when you're within the plane, when you look at the cockpit of the CSeries, it almost looks like a 320 cockpit. It's as if Rob here had the 320 in mind when he designed the CSeries. I don't want to pretend it, but that's the case. And it will be fully complementary to the 320 also for the airlines, which will have the flexibility to switch from one size to another while staying within the same family of aircraft. Of course, that will not be done in one shot. We'll have top priorities that we will put into action from day one. The first one is obviously to focus on the ramp-up. We will need the most out of the production of Mirabel to cope with the need we see in this market segment that we will tackle. But very importantly, we will rapidly need the most out of the second assembly that will be based in the US, because I remind you, the US market is roughly 40% of the overall 100-seater market, and that will be served from 2020 onwards. I need to sell the aircraft, that's my job under the leadership of the Airbus Chief Commercial Officer Eric Schulz, and I can tell you already we have mobilized all our global sales worldwide, and the answer and the feedback we got to the market already is extremely positive, and I don't doubt we will be successful. To deliver these priorities, obviously, we will need also to find improvement in the competitiveness of the aircraft. Philippe Balducci and all his team, made of Bombardier and Airbus people, have already isolated some areas of improvement in terms of competitiveness. That's, of course, using the great expertise that Airbus had in the rapid ramp-up. Of course, the 350 comes to mind, but also into the procurement field. Already, we have found areas of improvement that are being put in place as we speak. And finally, something dear to me, I would like to mention the cultural integration. Nothing will be done without integrating the people. And I live myself in Canada, and I know how much the Canadians care about the respect of their culture. So I would like to tell my new colleagues of Bombardier that they don't have to worry. The integration of cultures has been in Airbus DNA since day one, when we had to integrate 4 nationalities, and Canada will not be different from the others. So stay who you are, stay what you are. It's not one culture taking over another, it's actually one culture, the Airbus culture, enriching itself from another one, which is the one from Bombardier. And as I told you, we were well ahead of schedule in terms of the closing, so that proves to you that the integration in terms of culture is going well. So, to summarize and pass on the speech to my colleagues, I'd like to say to you, ladies and gentlemen, that we are open for business. The aircraft, the teams are already integrated, both from Bombardier and Airbus, with great talents all over the Atlantic part, and they are up and running as we speak. And of course, our global sales force worldwide is also mobilized already, and as we speak, they are already contacting some airlines for making this aircraft a great success, which I think it will be. Okay, we are ready to take the full commitment on this program, and I would like to pass on my microphone to somebody you probably know already, the one and only one, Rob Dewar, the father of the CSeries. I hope he doesn't get right after this, which will tell you a little bit more on the aircraft. Okay, Rob, you're...
Great, thank you, David. So super excited to be here and joining the Airbus family. So I'm going to give you a quick update on the CSeries product attributes and also on the program. Next slide, please. Thank you, David. Okay. So quick thing is, so the CSeries is the aircraft that was family developed specifically for the 100 to 150 seat market, and of course incorporates the latest technology, which really is the reason why it is unbeatable in terms of its economics and fuel burn. So some of the features first, so the CS100 and 300 are positioned basically, the 100 goes from 100 to 135 seats, and 300 goes from 130 to 160 seats. And again, it's selectable to suit our customer individual needs. A couple of the features that are very important for the customers. The CSeries has the same type rating, which is very important for basically all the crews that work on the aircraft. It really means that there's no difference training whatsoever between the CS100 and 300. The other thing that is important in terms of in-service, there's over 99% of the LRUs are actually the same part number. So essentially for customers, it means they have the same spares. Again, a big advantage for managing all the parts into service. And also a key feature of the CSeries is the turnaround time. So Christine's going to talk a little bit later about the cabin, which is really important in terms of turnaround, but also all the LRUs and maintenance activities have been planned in size for the 20-minute turnaround. Next slide, please. So also important when we studied the market was to look at what are the requirements for the customers in terms of the range coverage. So here you can see the range of the CSeries out of Paris. So essentially the CS100 has 2,950 nautical miles, and the CS300 is basically 3,200 nautical miles. And again, designed specifically for the commercial market, and that range was a feature that our customers told us was very important. And a feature of the CSeries, in addition to the range, it also has exceptional fuel performance, so you can actually access a lot of secondary airports and provide that full range, which provides new opportunities for our customers. Next slide, please. Thank you. So we talked about the sizing of the aircraft and positioning. Now really what we did is we looked at what technology adds real value to our customers. So essentially these are the 5 key technologies that we added to the aircraft. So basically advanced materials, over 70% of the materials on the CSeries are advanced materials, so essentially providing maintenance and significant weight savings. Efficient aerodynamics, the aircraft benefited from the latest generation of aerodynamic computational methods and tools, and you're going to see, I'll talk about a little bit later, some of the details and features, and you can actually see when you look at the aircraft, you can recognize some of those features that we'll talk about later. Of course, key to any successful program is the engine technology. So we selected the most efficient engines in the industry in terms of fuel burn and overall operating costs. So as you guys know well, it's the Pratt gear turbofan, and again, providing outstanding performance for us. On the systems, our philosophy was there's a lot of integrations of systems that we can do on the aircraft. And, but there's also very important in service is the reliability of the system. So we wanted to make sure that they were simple, robust, and reliable. So that was really the key differentiator for the system selection on the aircraft. And in terms of new technology, and I would say that the CSeries has absolutely the latest and most advanced health monitoring system in the industry. And this is, I believe, will provide super benefits we already see today, but also in the future. There's over 100,000 parameters that are monitored in the CSeries in real time. So of course now it allows us to better identify how the systems are performing. But more important in the future, with AI, we'll be able to predict really the system's performance, how to improve them, and also to preventively remove and service those systems real time. And so that is really a great opportunity, and we already see a lot of benefits and really good feedback. So a combination of sizing the aircraft specifically for a market segment and adding all these value-adding latest technologies gives us a 20% lower fuel burn, which of course is outstanding for our customers. A little bit more about the aerodynamics, so just some of the features. So you can see, starting with the nose of the aircraft, we have a fully integrated aerodynamic design, meaning there's no discontinuities on the nose of the CSeries. So of course it lowers the drag, but also provides a much quieter cockpit for our pilots. Engine on the integration was really key for us as well. We actually designed the engine and the CSeries on the wing together. So some of the benefits of that, we were able to integrate the features of the engine, the sizing, its operating performance is optimized with the aerodynamics of the aircraft. And so that was really good to do together. And we were the only ones in the industry that did the joint development. On the tail, you can see also we look to minimize the drag, so we have a low drag profile tail, which will have the benefits. So basically all this, again, leads to the lowest drag and of course the lowest weight of the aircraft. And by the way, I think it looks pretty good too. So I think it looks good, must be good. Cockpit. Of course the flight deck is key to any aircraft. And again, in the CSeries, we looked at the latest technology, and also we looked at the lessons learned across the industry in the last essentially 30 years. To look at what performs well, what can be improved, and we took the voice of the customer. We had working groups from many of the major airlines to really understand what the future requirements are. So essentially, the features are, you see large screens. Of course, we have side sticks, and we select that because a couple of things. It allows the pilots to be closer to the screens. It also provides a much better working environment for our pilots. So some of the other features, we have digital avionics that are modular. So basically it's a slots that can go into a bay and tray, so you can actually upgrade and be ready for future growth and future requirements. Another feature that came with the flight deck was the training time reduction. So essentially we're able to save 5 days of training. So I'm going to go on to that's okay. A quick video. I'll give you a little bit of more details. Thank you. Okay, so really I talked a little bit earlier about optimizing for the segment. So this is an important slide to really demonstrate what that means. So here you see basically the efficiency of the cabin cross-section. Going down is more efficient. So you can see the A320 family, the larger single aisle on the bottom right, the most efficient. And we talked about efficiency, it's efficiency of drag and weight. And basically the C-Series for our segment is clearly the market leader. And then on the less efficient side, in the upper left, there are regional products that are trying to push into this space. And of course, again, not optimized from a weight and drag. And I would also say, of course, from the cabin point of view as well. So on that note, I'm going to pass over to Christine Degagné, who's going to give us an update on the C-Series cabin. Christine?
Thank you, Rob. So I'm very thrilled today to talk about the unrivaled experience that passengers are actually experiencing today on our aircraft. So the first attribute I'd like to talk about, I'll introduce it with a story with our crew. So very often I go and meet the crew of our current customers, and one of them, I asked him, what do you think about the C-Series? And he told me, you know what? Passengers are actually calmer in our aircraft compared to the other product that they fly. And the other product that they fly, the C-Series have 2 more inches in the seat width. So he said it's so much nicer for the crew because, you know, we don't have to deal with stressed people. So this is one common attribute that we actually share with the Airbus family. When we designed the C-Series, we set the standard of comfort very high, starting at 18 inches up to 19 inches wide seat. And when we go higher, it's actually not a compromise with the aisle width. The aisle width is very wide, so we're the only one in its class that has the widest seat and the widest aisle. So that translates into a great fast turnaround time for the airlines. So one of the most stressing part of traveling is actually when you board the aircraft and you wonder, will I be able to store my bag right above me, right? Or you don't want it on your knees either. So on the C-Series, we actually offer the largest storage in its class. And again, I validated with the crews, and they told me that's one of the only aircraft where the crew didn't have to manage bags because everybody had to find a place for their bags. So one roller bag per packs. This is phenomenal. And the windows. The first thing you'll notice, or won't notice actually, when you get in the aircraft in the C-Series, is that the lights are not turned on. It's so exceptionally bright, and this is another common aspect, you know, that we share with the A320, is that we have 1 to 2 windows per row. So passengers, when they buy a ticket for a window seat, they actually get a lot of windows. So I will be giving the tours later in the afternoon, so I hope that you'll join me. Because there are some things that can be said, but it's nothing like actually feeling it yourself. Because all of these attributes come together because of the exceptional cross-section that was actually designed around the passenger to give the space where you actually need it. And I can say that I can predict that you will say, like most of our customers when you get in, wow, this is a baby A350. So I challenge you to come and experience and see it for yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. Actually, I love the cabin as well, and I'm a pretty big guy. I fit everywhere, so you guys will enjoy it as well. So a little bit about the where we are overall. So we have over 400 sales to date. As of today, we have 38 aircraft in service. And of course, we have the backlog of 364, so very healthy. But David is going to make sure that he's going to really change these numbers, and I can see he's excited, and we already see a lot of momentum on that side.
Very much so. Can count on me actually, Rob. All the Airbuses.
Okay, so a little bit more details in operation. So 3 operators, as you are aware. So Swiss was the launch operator, started with the CS100. They now have 23 aircraft in service. And then they started later on, we actually had the launch operator was Aerobaltic, and they started with the CS300s. They have currently 9 in service. And Korean Air was the 3rd operator, CS300, and they have today 6 aircraft in service. So we've, one thing I say is a very positive indication is the aircraft just keeps flying. All the customers are pushing more than an average aircraft in service today. And for a new aircraft, we're operating with Airbaltic up to 18 hours of flying per day, which is really extreme in terms of operational hours. And they're super happy with the utilization that they have. Swiss is a different profile. They're doing up to 10 flight legs per day and just over 1 hour. So the aircraft's getting tested kind of in 2 extremes, and in both cases it's performing well. So it's very encouraging. You know, the aircraft's been in service coming on 2 years, and it's great to see that the customers are able to get this high utilization out of the aircraft. So just some of the feedback, these are some of the quotes from customers. So you can see with Airbaltic, performance better than expected. And so they're talking really about the fuel burn performance and also the field performance. They also do one of the longest routes to date so far for the CSeries. They're flying Riga to Abu Dhabi and return. And they take off on the return middle of the day with 145 passengers. Again, demonstrating the hot performance and also range capability of the aircraft. If you look at the Swiss, of course I talked about their profiles. They have done more than 65 A-checks, so they're at 850 hours. And to date we have not had 1 finding so far, so that's also really positive. Usually on a new aircraft you'd find a few things, but so far it's been clean. And the other thing they quoted is it's very, very easy to do the maintenance tasks. So typically for an HVAC, you're looking normally in a range of about 8 hours. And the CSeries is doing it consistently now in 3 hours or less. So again, great, they can do it easily in an overnight and get the aircraft back in, and we see that in the utilization numbers that they're showing. Environment, of course, really critical for all of us. We know the importance of a low environmental footprint, and I'm happy to say that the CSeries is benchmark in terms of its environmental low footprint. So you see CO2 minus 20%, NOx minus 50, and of course in terms of noise we're 20 dB below